Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Inner Circle. I'm here with you again to share with you some great deals. They come in a very nice package, very interesting category. I love retrograde complications. It is really a way of you, of the wearer, to get in the mood and get in the spirit of the mechanical watch as an almost living being, as something nearly sentient, because you can see how it beats, how it um, lives and breathes on the face of it. I really love these, and I try to diversify as much as possible according to different price points, and also chose three different retrograde complications so you get a flavor of all, and I have a fourth one as a bonus. So let's start with the old master, Jarajanta, who set off under his own name already in late 60s, even as he continued to design for all these major brands. This is one of the simple watches, one of the simplest, in fact, that he has released under his own brand. Very unadorned, very no nonsense, just a three-hander basically, hours and minutes and retrograde seconds on a 30-second scale. So you will get to see the retrograde complication not once, but twice every minute. It is also a 36 millimeter watch, so very wearable, very discreet, but also absolutely functional and lots of fun to wear. Certainly at an incredible price point as well. This is the Jarajanta Retrograde Second for 1,938, listed with that fixed price by a dealer out of Japan on Chrono 24. Next up, we have another old master, namely Daniel Roth. This is a complication he basically cribbed from another master, namely George Daniels, who had implemented the retrograde hour hand in some of his pocket watches, and who had exhibited this complication in his famous book on watchmaking, simply called Watchmaking. His idea was to, in a way, assert the secondariness of the hour hand and give the minute hand a certain kind of prominence, to harken back to the legacy of mechanical watches as precise timekeeping instruments. When Daniel Roth first released these pieces, they had basically a seconds, a small seconds subdial, seconds on a subdial. This is a modified and later version that also uses Arabic numerals, which I think is actually a nice touch to really bring out the quirkiness of the complication. This particular model is presented in an 18 karat pink gold case and with a black guilloche dial with what has become one of the visual cues to identify a Daniel Roth watch, namely the vertical pinstripes, right? That's the guilloche style that you most often see on Daniel Roth watches, of course, always encased in that style of the double ellipse, the ellipsocurvex case. In these models, that subdial is converted into a pointer date, which is very useful and very stylish indeed. The case, as you can see, has beautiful contours, so a lot of fun to wear, and with a matching pin buckle as well in 18 karat pink gold. The dimensions of the case are again quite wearable, and because of its unique shape, it speaks volumes at any rate. So it is a watch that will have lots of wrist presence, even though its measurements are basically a 35 by 41. So it's a great style, a wonderful complication that basically snaps back once it's 6 o'clock a.m. or p.m. The hour hand never crosses into this subdial. Very, very cool demonstration. Very simple demonstration of a complicated genius at work. Third example, oh, I should mention the price, of course. This particular piece is listed by a professional dealer out of Estonia, and it is a fixed price on Chrono 24, 10,952 in US dollars. Our third option is, again, from one of my most favorite watchmakers, Parmigiani, Michel Parmigiani, Parmigiani Fleurier. It is a perpetual calendar that carries his signature, has a very discreet and somewhat modernist indicator for the moon phase at 6 o'clock, a digital expression of the month at 4 o'clock, day of the week at 8, leap year indicator at 12, and expressed as a scale that is laid out like a downward facing crescent moon. You have the retrograde dates, which of course greets the beginning of the month by snapping right back to the first. The piece is presented in the toric case, stepped and fluted to give the watch a sort of neoclassical, almost architectural look. And you can see how beautifully the movement is decorated with deep scoops of Côte de Genève, the Geneva stripes or the Geneva waves, and it has a full gold rotor that has the brand's barley grain pattern, guilloché, on it. Parmigiani Fleurier perpetual calendar in white gold with retrograde dates. This one is listed also at a fixed price from a professional dealer in Italy, 24,274 in US dollars at Chrono 24. Now for the bonus round of tonight, I have another piece by Gerard Janta. These are models that he introduced already in the late 90s, but they were so popular that Bulgari continued releasing a lot of them into the 2000s after they acquired the brand via the Hourglass. As you know, up until recently, when the brand name was still active under the premises of Bulgari, they loved releasing the bi-retrogrades with some cartoon of Mickey Mouse emblazoned upon them. this is more of a racing theme. It is also luminous, so quite a fun watch to play around in the dark. In this case, of course, you have the jump hour complication, which is expressed through an aperture at 6 o'clock. You have a centrally deployed seconds and also minutes, which complete the dashboard aesthetic of the dial, and snap back to 0 at the top of the hour, synchronously with the hour jumping to the next. This one is on a rubber band in black, also jaeger-lecoultre branded, and a déployant clasp that carries his blessed initial. This one is listed by a private seller out of Italy who has the price as $4,403, 4403, but he remains open for offers. These are the 4 watches that I wanted to share with you today. Jaeger-lecoultre Retro Sport, Jump Hour Retrograde Minutes, Parmigiani Fleurier Perpetual Calendar in 18 karat white gold with a beautiful dial in anthracite gray and salmon accents and a retrograde date. Daniel Roth's Première Retrograde, or Retrograde rather, in 18 karat pink gold with the black vertical stripes guilloche dial. And finally, the jaeger-lecoultre Retro Second. These are the 4. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you so much for your continued support. If you have any questions about these particular listings, any questions about the 3 brands involved, about retrograde complications, watches with other kinds of retrograde functions, just send me a line. Just reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to respond to you and get back to you as soon as possible. You can always write to me here on Patreon, of course. You can reach out to me on Instagram at young.brando on Instagram. You can also write an email to me, and that is lordhellespont5 @gmail.com, lordhellespont5 @gmail.com. I am at your service, and I'm eternally grateful for your support. I will see you right away on a live stream. Until then, I bid you adieu.